Mine will be different than what I would say otherwise. Yeah, my fun fact, boy, God, there are so many. I think my fun fact I'm going to stick with is the one that I go with that I do a lot of genealogy. I've always done a lot of genealogy. I've been doing PR for years, genealogy longer. I've been doing genealogy for at least 50 years. Okay. And I have traced my way back all the way to Jesus. Okay.
Wow.
And
Wow.
along the way, old King Cole, who was a merry old soul, was a merry old great 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 grandfather, and some kings of whatever, and then Miley Cyrus of all people. So yeah, I'm related to a lot of interesting. The Castos are secretly related to a lot of interesting people. So.
I love it. All right, Fred, do your introduction and your fun fact real quick.
All right. So I'm in Indy and I pastored for about 25 years, planted a church, and then went through cancer. And I'm a cancer survivor. Was not supposed to make it, went through a lot of depression because of that, and ended up landing in business. And I started a painting business that I own. And then I started doing business coaching and public speaking just because people would ask, how'd you do it? So that's what I do. And my fun fact is I have bungee jumped one of the largest bridges in the world, 350 feet tall in Zambia, Africa, the Victoria Falls.
Oh my gosh. No, thank you. Wow, what a great, you have several.
Yeah, I'm not great with heights. I'm starting to sweat just thinking about that. But boy, God love you.
That's amazing. Evan, how about you?
Uh, my name is Evan Raoof. I'm the director of the Philly Academy and also an ambassador for Wayne County, Michigan, Detroit area. I love Alignable. I started as a personal trainer 20 something years ago. It's evolved to more optimal health coaching and consulting because most people are dying too young and sick too long. And we need to help people learn a skill to be healthy. That's what I do. And I really love doing it. And Alana's been a great platform for me. A fun fact, well, in my previous life, I was a buyer for Nordstrom. And so I got rid of most of my suits, but I still have like 200, over 250 ties. So I got some
Oh,
gifts, I got
Wow.
some good deals, but I got really nice ties and I just can't give away. So yes.
I love it. Oh my God, that's so awesome. All right. Chuck, do you have a question to start him off? I was talking to him earlier. I have a whole bunch of questions, but you go first if you
oh
have.
my God. I have so many questions. Oh my goodness. Okay, so let me start. I'm going to start with Fred. Fred, so you're coming up on your year anniversary. What would you tell all the newbies? Because a lot of us have been here a lot longer than a year. So we've sort of forgotten what it's like to be a newbie.
Yeah, I started in April last year and I went to a bunch of Smart Connects out of the gate, and that was way too much time. So I would say be selective on Connects. Connect with groups or leaders that look like they know what they're doing, and then you learn things a lot quicker. So I'd give that advice. And then I would say if you have a local meetings where you're at, definitely engage in those because that's a huge piece. I never thought I would be an ambassador. I didn't need another thing on my plate. And but Joe's on too, our co-ambassador here in Indy with me, and it's been awesome to be involved in that way.
Awesome. How about you, Evan?
Terrific.
So what's the question? What, a newbie for a newbie?
Oh,
So
well, let
actually,
me ask you an oldie question. No.
okay, well, I'd like to expand what Fred was saying because it's like really, as a free member, when you join, it's like really important for you to really get your profile to look like, does it represent who in your business? Because they all intertwine with the smart connects. And then, like what Fred said about the groups, you want to join groups, but be mindful which groups you're joining and looking at the opportunities that are available to you. And I have a strategy that you're going to use the platform, whether you're free or paid.
Ah, I love that too. I love that question, Chuck. And it's funny, as I was talking to him earlier, I said I was reading a bunch of people's feedbacks from, what do you think about Alignable? And I noticed that, and I want you guys to answer these questions because this is what they said. There was all these people that would say, and most all of them, like what you were saying, they were just a guest on Alignable, they were on the free account, and a bunch of people said, well, I don't get any customers on Alignable. I don't know if it works. I'm not getting any customers. So what would you say to them? What would you answer to them? Let's start with Evan.
So, as I said before, like I think we all have to have a strategy, right? In terms of how we're going to attack the platform. I do think that this a lot of is kind of a social media. I know that gets the grain, but at the same time, like when your profile is set the right way, understanding how alignable is pay to play as well. The smart connects are intertwined with the profile. Does it represent who you are in your business? And it's constantly changing. But if you're complaining about not finding the right people, it could be your profile that's not directing you to the right people. At the same time, because it's your profile, you're probably going to meet a lot of the competition in your group. So that's why it's important for you to really identify who ideal partners are, who ideal customers are, because if you really enjoy, I can work with anybody, but I enjoy working with this group of people. Now you can identify, okay, I enjoy working with this group of people. This person works with these group of people. We can work in collaboration, work together. And that's not a click of the button. It's more of building the relationship with someone. And we all have to be really clear on that and clear on who our ideal customer partners are, and also clear on getting better at building relationships. To me, I can tell you I'm learning as I go. It's a constant process to learn how to ask the right questions, build relationships. Well, we have to learn that.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, it's funny because when I was really heavily into my business, I joined the chamber, and a lot of chamber people would say the same thing. I joined the chamber and didn't get anything, but they didn't do anything. They didn't actually go network and actually do what they needed to do. They just expected, I think that's what people said in the Alignable feedback, is they just expect Alignable. Maybe they just say, here's a bunch of customers for you. I mean, that's not, what do you think about that, Fred? What would you say to those people?
Well, I'll give a little Fred talk. So remember, my name's
Right.
Fred. I'm your friend. So if you don't like what I say, honestly, I think a lot of it has to do with your attitude going into it. If you're all about what can I get out of this, and you're trying to sell people, it's not going to work. And there's lots of online tools, Google ads and Facebook ads, and I've tried those with my companies, and if you don't put the work in relationally to network and to follow up, it's not going to do anything for you. And so I view it as this is a great investment to use, like Evan said, the AI tools that it matches me up with great network partners, whether it's local or around the country. And that is worth the $30 I pay a month, just that. And then I need to have a strategy, and I need to engage and connect with people if it's going to produce any kind of fruit, And so I'm a big add value to other people, and it will eventually reciprocate back to you approach. And so I think you get what you put into it and what you want out of it.
Ooh.
Whether people like that, hear that or not, I think that's just the reality of leadership and business.
Can I ask another follow-up question from that to both of
Yeah.
you? Because Sue and I have seen this, and I think she knows where this is going to go too. But there is really a culture here among the members who do the best, right? However, we define what the best is, right? Of being givers and of being, serving
Yeah.
the mission, right?
Yeah.
And serving small businesses. Where do you, Fred, I'm really interested to hear what you think of that.
Well, Joe's on too. He's co-ambassador with me in Indianapolis, and neither of us really had the time for this, because it's
Right.
volunteer, and we weren't sure if we could commit to it, but we thought, okay, together we can. And we've just been in alignment together that this is about adding value to business owners in our community. That's what it's about. And we're playing the long play, that it will have a residual effect for us. I haven't had like tons of clients from it. I've had one, but that's not my end goal initially. It's to build the right culture, where people aren't selling each other, where you like know, like, and trust,
Right.
people that you're going to want to
Hmm.
refer, and it's going to come back to you. And
Right.
we've gone from 15 people to 50 at events because of that culture.
Amazing.
What about you,
Right.
Evan? I love that question.
It is the giver's theory, right? It's like I don't know where it's coming from, but it will come because I'm giving more of myself and supporting people. I'm not going to tell you I volunteer because this I look at this as more my part of my business because I'm expecting in the back end from giving. And this what beautiful about Alignable is that we actually work with different organizations like BNI and Chamber of Commerce's if we find the right people that are giving. And it was, the giver's gain theory. I give, and then if you find two people that want to dance back and forth or build relationships, we can work together to find a common nurturing. And part of the building relationships, it's not so much that, we are ideal referral partners, ideal customers. I remember one of the people I referred, um, she was a mom. Her daughter was 13. She played hockey. I met another mom her daughter was 14 and she played hockey. The daughter played hockey. I introduced them, and 6 months later, they're starting a business together. I mean, so just listening intently for what's really important. It's not about really the business. It's about really trying to what's important to that other person and see how you can help them. Because I don't know where it's going to come from. It's going to come. It has come, and it's going to come more because I'm giving, and I do it because I generally care, and I think that's a big important thing too.
I love it.
Right.
And yeah, like you both said kind of similar things. It's like like Evan said, on your profile, you have your ideal customer that you tell Alignable and everybody who visits it who that is, and your ideal referral partner. And tell me if I'm wrong, but with your attitude, like Fred said, the attitude should be who can I meet to form really strong relationships with that turn into referral partners who are going to send customers my way. Like that should be what it is. It's like it's way easier to do that than go out and try to find one customer at a time. That takes forever, right?
Sure.
Any thoughts on that?
Well, actually, just this morning, well, actually at midnight, I got an email from one of the guys that's in our Alignable Indianapolis group. Started to develop a good relationship with him, and he has a power washing company. And he said, "Hey, just want to let you know, Fred, I referred you to this family. I power washed their house, and they need some painting done. So I recommended them. Here's their information." I, I mean, I didn't ask for that. We've built the kind of
Right.
trust with each other where we want to refer each other. Yeah.
Love it. Evan, you were raising your hand. What'd you have to
No,
say?
it is building relationships, and you don't really know where it's going to come from, but just
Mhm.
being intentional and asking that's also learning to ask the right questions. How can you really help somebody? You don't know where it's going to lead. And I have to be really mindful too, because I'm learning as I go. It's like I got to be more intentional trying to find a referral for this person. Like who's in my database that database is the wrong word. Who do I really know that really I can refer? And just because in my contact list, do I know them well enough to refer them? I know this may be another tangent, but this is the challenge of Alignable. Technology is going to allow us to be meeting people, but the truth of the matter is it's not the technology is going to get you customers. It's the relationship you build. And you have to be good at doing that and learning how to do that. And that's why, like, this is why it's a great platform. But really, everybody on this call, it's you are the ones that actually have to develop how to use it the right way. So you don't spend a lot of time on Alignable.
Yeah.
I love that. It was like perfect. That was golden, you guys. So I'm sure, Chuck, we probably should ask this. Have either of you used Alignable 360? I know you touched on it sort of kind of bit in a roundabout way. We just launched the official Alignable 360 where as a paid member on Alignable, you can actually look into other people's networks, ask for introductions. Have either of you been playing around in that and with the networking coaches and all that stuff? Evan, you want to go first? What have
I've
you?
been I think we've had it for a few more months before it officially launched. And I've used it. I didn't really understand it, and I started using when you asked me. to start looking at it more when they opened up. And I see such a great potential, and I'm looking, okay, who are these targeting? Who are the people that actually I really should be getting to know better? Because they're in my connections, like, and I actually run the health collaboration up. So if anybody is a health practitioner or in the allied industry, they should join up my group on Alignable. But in terms of how can we form collaborative partnerships to be able to grow our business? And that's inside of that Alignable 360. So I'm actually trying to go through the list of people that I know and who should I target to set up a one-to-one with to kind of build that relationship, because I do know a lot of people, but do I really know enough to be able to send a referral? And me sending a referral is not by click of a button. It's more like, let's talk about who can I refer to? Is this a good person that could be good for you? And that's in building relationships. And I'm kind of an introvert, believe it or not. So it's hard for me to kind of set up those conversations, but I'm doing it and it's step by step. But that's the power of the 360 that's there. And how do I use it effectively to maximize my time?
Yes, and just to piggyback on that, as Evan also said earlier, if your ideal customers and referral partners are not, you have not chosen the right tags on your profile, 360 won't work for you. So definitely. How about you, Fred? Have you tried it yet?
Just a little, this last couple months, I took a new position helping an organization with their business coaching and developing things. And we had a big Shark Tank event that I was in charge of. And so I've been pretty like slammed. But I've done a few times where I've used it, but I pretty much only use it with people that I know well.
Mm,
Yeah. Because good people know good people. That's like
100%.
a philosophy I have. So, okay, I think it was Steve Kent that said, you need to get on Chuck's group. Well, I
Oh
got
yeah.
on Chuck's group. Then I met Victor. Then I met Evan. I met some other people, in those groups, and Dr. Karen and Dr. Thomas Hill. And so good people know good people. So that's that selective piece that Evan's been talking about.
Awesome.
I mean, you could click it on everybody and have everybody asking to meet with you. And it's just not, you're going to get frustrated.
Exactly.
At the
But
same
yeah,
time, Fred, this is also too is identifying who you really want to speak to, because your time is valuable.
All
So
right.
being mindful, that's why it's important. Is it truly those truly the ideal referral partners you want to meet or ideal customers you want to meet? Who are the ones that really know these people? Do I really know this person well enough to be able to trust them to refer business to them? And that's only in you building a relationship with that person.
yes. And so choosing people to start building that relationship with is also really important, because that page is sorted by your ideal customers, referral partners, and who they know, how many of those they know
Right.
in their network. And if you find that person that looks like they know a lot of your ideal customers or referral partners, maybe it's time to start connect with them, set up a one-to-one to see if there's a relationship to start being built, right?
Yeah.
I
Oh,
want
that's
to add something too, because you're talking about this, because if there's a lot of new members and even paid members, have you invited your contact list to Alignable? Because that's really important. Like, you may not have a lot of contacts on Alignable right now, but those contacts are in your database or contact list on your computer. And if you invite them, it doesn't cost you anything as a credit. At the same time, they're on Alignable, and then you're hooked up to those people. And if you are a paid member, you get to see identifying like who are they really connected to, and then you can start the ball because you know those people very well. Because I actually belong to a closed group myself, and so I invited some people on from my closed group off Alignable, and now I actually been able to refer more business to them because I know who they're looking for.
That's brilliant. That is brilliant. I love that. Yes. And if you don't know what he's talking about, you go to your My Network and then it says contacts, and that takes you a page where you can sync up your email address book with your Alignable account, and you can ask Alignable to go see if they can find the people that you know already on Alignable, and they'll let you connect with free, like Evan said. You can connect without using your connection credits or theirs either. So yeah, that's a great tip.
And one final benefit of the 360 is as well as there are many other ones, but at the same time, if you're uncomfortable talking about these ideal requirements, it gives you a good conversation starter to look at. Okay, hey, I didn't realize we actually know you. You have a lot of these people make connections that I could be perfect ideal for partners for myself or you. Let's see how we can help each other.
Exactly. Chuck, do you have a question for these guys? Another question?
Well, I do. I do. So I want, and it's funny. I've wanted to ask this the whole time, and I know neither of you are nurses, but I want to bring this up because as we think about some of the people who really do well on Alignable, again, it comes back to the givers. But there were a ton of people, and then it hit me that Sue, you're one too, who are past nurses and teachers. So they're nurturers, okay? And being able to nurture a business relationship is pretty much the key to opening everything on Alignable, I think. But I wanted to ask Fred that.
I would definitely agree with that. I'm a former pastor, which is
Right.
a
Giving
field where
profession.
you're serving
Right.
and you're coming alongside people in their life. And I actually taught for 7 years too. And so,
Okay.
um, so uh, yeah, people they can sense if you're in what you're in it for. And it doesn't take long. I mean, 10 minutes into a Zoom and I know the character of somebody. It didn't take long to sense they're just in it for themselves
Seconds.
versus the other. And it's so clear and so quick and so easy. And so and I think that's why Joe and I have had such success here in Indy is we just we just want to help people grow their business and their personal life too as a leader. And we care about them. And people sense that. And there's just a culture that everybody just really looks forward to the events. And new people are like, man, this was not what I was expecting. This was so, comfortable and feel like you already have friends, after one event. And so, yeah, I would definitely agree. Alignable is designed to be kind of a relational network platform where LinkedIn is a professional business platform. And so I think if you are a relator, and naturally have those skills and abilities, whether you're introverted or not, or extroverted, if you really play into that strategically, you can really use Alignable to be very effective for you.
I love it. How about you, Evan? And add something in there on how what Chuck was asking you on how to take that and how to use it in a smart connect. Because there's smart connects where people get a few minutes. Like, what's your tips for that along these lines?
I think the tip for myself is, oh, I like to be in control. So I'm the one who's asked the questions first because, and as Fred said, it might take him 3 minutes. It takes me like 30 seconds to identify who I'm talking to in some ways. So like asking the right questions, and this is also from my perspective as an ambassador, and I really come from like, how can I help you with Alignable first in some ways? Because I feel like if I can help them, and even sometimes referring a good book is a good referral to somebody and get to know them, and then give more, and then try to find the solution for them to direct them to the right people, and then that gives us a chance to talk, and then set up another time, and that and set that up to say, okay, after 7 minutes, if we'll schedule another time, even before the 7 minutes up, like we're already planning this talk again, if I feel it's worthwhile. And
Awesome.
that's another thing too, is the follow up, making sure you're following with people.
100%. So let's take that same question that Chuck asked, but let's talk about how to act in groups. Like when you're in a group and you're not talking to people one to one, but you're posting and commenting and things. What are your tips for people to how to act in groups? Let's start with Evan this time and then
I really don't address it very much in the groups. I just post myself, ask in the groups. I'm asking positive questions about their business, like same thing you would ask an individual. Look, what inspired you to start your business? Like and open-ended questions. There's more conversational stuff. And then I haven't really addressed the links in the post. I haven't really an issue because I actually, for myself as an ambassador, I would actually highlight the post at the top. So it pushes the one if someone is linking their business up or asking questions, it's like it's self-directed. But asking open-ended questions get people open about answering the question per se, and then other conversations come from that question. And
Right.
it just opens up opportunity increased engagement in the platform itself.
Yeah, questions are really good. What would you say, Fred, about people in a group that maybe somebody asked the question about wanting to find do a website, and then somebody responds by saying, hire me, and giving all their contact information. What would you tell people to do? Well, just tell me what you think
How would
about
you
that.
react? Right.
Well, we talk about a lot at our events because we talk to people we take about 15 minutes every time at the events that we do and say, hey, here's some tips and tools on how to use Alignable. And the number one thing we say is don't try to sell yourself. It's going to be a turn off immediately. And then even before we say, hey, you're going to get 30 seconds to share what you do and who you are, we're going to go around. And then you get somebody that tries to take 2 minutes and just kind of goes into stuff. And I tell them ahead, I say, you're shooting yourself in the foot with that. And if you've ever gotten on a Smart Connect with someone, 30 seconds in, oh man, this was a waste of my time, right? So, honestly, I am involved in a couple groups, but I'm not super active because I really channel most of my time and energy to the in-person events. Outside of the Smart Connect I lead. And so when we're posting, we're just usually posting, hey, here's what's going on, and here's how we can, help you. And everybody that's joining our alliance, we're, just saying, hey, great to have you in. And hey, by the way, your face isn't showing up. Put your face where your logo is so people can connect your business with who you are as a person. And we just try to give them quick tips to help them. And I don't know. I think if you are an ambassador, the best way to handle that kind of stuff is to be preemptive, like to set a culture, and people tend to rise to what you expect of them rather than just get all frustrated that people are doing what you don't want them to do.
Cool. Chuck, did you have another question?
Well, one of the things that I've noticed with certain folks who've been on for a long time, they will literally like that 30 seconds where you're like, oh boy, okay, this person really doesn't know how to do this, and they'll take pity on them. And they will say, I know it's a little strong to say, but that's pretty much it. They'll be like, hey, you know what? Let's back up for a second. I just want to know you. I just want to know you. You can always sell your business at some other point, but I just want to know you. And it's really going to be the best way to do these smart connects. And I know some people who have almost made a career of that, where they see somebody who's new and they're like, I'm helping you. I'm helping you with your profile because I know it's not quite right. I'm helping you with this. And sort of like the pushy but loving grandmother, okay? And I just want to say for anyone here, I have seen so many people like that here who have done so well because they're like, you know what? I'm just going to teach. I'm just going to teach them how to do it. And usually they're able to accomplish that. So Evan, do you find yourself doing that? I mean, I know you're naturally a coach type of guy. Do you find yourself like coaching everyone you can get your hands on?
I, I think it's an easy in for me to connect with someone. This is the thing is that, no one cares whether I'm a free agent with Alignable or not, because they think that I'm a Alignable employee, which is not true. At the same
Right.
time, no one cares about that relationship except that want to get results. So I do try to help them in regards to help them with their Alignable profile first off, because especially if they're in my ideal referral partner base, when I feel it, I want to help them even more, because the more I help them, the more that we can actually work together later on. It is all about me, really. But at the same time, like I really want to help, I get juiced by helping other people. and to say that with the smart connects, it's like does everybody have a 30-second elevator pitch or something briefly, or can you explain your business in 2 sentences or less? If you can do that, you got 6.5 minutes to talk about 3.5 minutes to talk to that person about other things. So then you actually have a chance to really expand on it, because it isn't about the 7-minute meeting. It isn't about the meeting that Fred's running. It's the meeting after the meeting.
Mhm.
So listening intently, what's really being said in the meetings is this person the one that I really want to, continue building a relationship with. I just had my Alignable Ambassador meeting earlier today, and that was the focus of our meeting today. It's like setting up the questions that I asked them, like, if you're being, how would you like to be talked about when you're referred to another person? What would you like to say? How would you like to be introduced to your referral partner
I
by
like,
somebody else?
I
If you
love,
can answer that question, you should know it, and you should be able to. It's all part of communication. I'm getting better all the time, and I expect everybody else is going to get better all the time. We actually work together because we're helping each other out.
wow, I
I have
love
a question that I also wanted to ask Sue. Um, you guys are both ambassadors. What the heck is that all about? Like, should everybody listening to this, and I know there are some other ambassadors in here and co-ambassadors, but should anyone watching this recording who's wondering, geez, how can I get more involved in Alignable? How can I boost my visibility more? How can I do more to help? Should they be an ambassador? And I'm going to start with Fred because you're more of the newbie on the ambassador front.
Yes. So Evan mentioned about it's, the return on the investment. For me, that's what it was all about. If I'm going to use this platform, I want to have a certain level of control in how I'm able to use it. And would I have told you 6 months ago I was going to be an ambassador? No. It kind of fell in my lap. And Sue came to our kind of re-kickoff event for Indy because we only had like 5 people come into events. I'd only gone to like one, and there was just me and the ambassador. And Joe had been to one with like 5 people. And when Sue came, we had about 15, and then it's ballooned and just 25, 35, 40, 50, and just, um, but I like having the ability to shape something and build something. And so for me, it was like, if I'm going to invest in a platform, I might as well just play a leadership role. And there are benefits to it, and so I would say definitely being an ambassador is a huge plus. Yeah.
Love it. Definitely the leader. I'm glad you asked that question because I did want to say last week we had a couple of really good group leaders on here, and be setting yourself up to be a leader on Alignable, whether it's a group leader, a virtual group leader, or an ambassador is really huge. I mean, look, these two are here like getting free advertising for themselves and their business, getting free PR, and because they set themselves apart to be a leader. And yeah, like Fred said, you're taking time. You don't have time for this all the time. And Evan, I know you're a busy guy, but it's worth it, and I love that. So let's segue into, as leaders on Alignable and you're being experts on Alignable, any big success stories you'd like to share, since that's the title of our member success series? What is your
Yes, it is.
success? I'll go to Evan first.
For myself personally, like I've been in terms of that, I've been invited like 20 different podcasts last year, and probably the opportunity was meeting through people that I had met on Alignable, as well as like this year, there was 4 different mastermind groups I was invited to, between 4 and 50, and then I got a few clients from it. So directly, I didn't get a clients from Alignable, but I built the relationships with people, and that took a bit of time. It's not like something happened right away. And some of these groups, it's like I'm very privileged to be in the group because they're a very select group of people. So it's helped a great deal. And, to answer the question about being an ambassador, it's like someone said, like, if you own a business, you should be in front of the room.
Ah,
So, like Fred and myself, like, and any ambassador, any group leader, would we have access to all the people that we're getting connected to? there's a big responsibility at being an ambassador, but at the same time, the big opportunity is that you get to connect with people in a low. If I had to call 15,000 people cold calling, I wouldn't reach them. But I have all these people available to us to see how we can help them. And the long game is the relationship building. In the end, the slow game is I can spend money on advertising, but I still need to know my ideal referral partners and ideal customers, and I pay for it. The investment of my time is what I'm seeking now. The end game is the more people I can help, I can change the world because I have something important to say, and I'm bringing people together that can help more people.
Oh my gosh, that got to me. That was really good.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
You two are packing a punch, but it comes in
Oh,
like
no
this.
kidding.
It comes in right over here.
Boy,
Oh my
Evan.
God, look at
Slider.
Fred. Fred's gonna slide that message right in there, and Evans up and around. It's like boom. I love it. I
Oh,
love
I'm
it.
so I just feel that hit me, Evan, because that's, so, I work for Alignable now, and people are like, I like, this is my life. This is my purpose. This is what I'm doing to change the world. So thank you for that. Fred, what about your success stories?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's bigger than just the financial success I get. I've got that's a part of it too. The bigger purpose for me is to make an influence in people's lives and also to kind of help people see the goodness of God, in the way that you work with them. And so for me, if I'm able to add value to someone and I'm able to help them be encouraged with their business or take a step or create an environment that fosters that, and then the follow-ups that happen from it, I mean, that's way more important than any money I make. But on the financial side, I've had numerous people invite me to be speakers to their events or podcasts. And I had one, Arba Cooper. I don't know if you guys know her, but she's in
Buffalo.
Buffalo.
Yep.
Yep, she's an ambassador in Buffalo. And got to know her on I think a Smart Connect. And she's like, hey, let's connect. And our personalities connected, the energy. And turns out she had me on her event. And I do a lot of principles. And one of them is helping people understand their superpower strength zone. Okay. And I go through a DISC assessment and I go through some other things. And so I taught to her group of 15 people, and she's like, that was awesome. And she goes, I want to talk to you about coaching. And so then she became one of my coaching clients. She paid for my coaching program, went through it. And now she is helping me with my coaching organization, doing marketing for my coaching clients. So it's like been this reciprocal thing that happened. And so that's just a quick one. But for me, yes, there is the return on investment that I want and some of the financial piece and with my business. But the impact on people's lives is way more important. And there's just so many opportunities all the time in this platform.
Wow, I love it. And I got to make sure, because I know our times keeps they always go so fast here. I get this question all the time. I don't know if you do too, Chuck, but people want to know, how much time do you spend on Alignable? And like, do you have like a system of, you get up in the morning, you check your
Routine,
messages?
right.
Like, what is your daily habits on Alignable? Let's start with who wants to go first? Go ahead, Evan.
Evan.
You know, I'm on there every day, of course, but I was mindful a couple of years ago that I'm spending too much time. So like with an event, like I have an in-person event that I do once a month. It's about everything is about 15 to 20 minutes at a time. I probably spend an hour a day on Alignable. I post every day, about 30 minutes to an hour a day posting things. I have a set time and I go and answer emails and things like that. But I try to spend a minimum amount of time. Like today, I had a meeting, so that was 2 hours out of my day today. That's structured into the month. And then I have a weekly meeting through a lineup with my health collaboration hub. But I don't consider that when I'm meeting people doing one-on-ones with people, I don't consider that part of a lineup because I have to, how would I have a chance to meet all these people and sit one-on-one with them, asking the right questions, and they turn into other appointments for my business, or I'm helping them and I'm able to build that relationship. So that's also like trying to figure out how do I spend the least amount of time on Alignable. You know, I believe like as ambassadors, we're really not supposed to talk about our business in our meetings and groups. It doesn't
Right.
serve us any if we talk about business. So the only way to do that is to really post regularly, educate people what I do. So and engaging on the platform. That's part of if I was any other platform, I do the same thing. So it's not that's important to be mindful of because the money's in the follow-up and the relationships in the follow-up. So how are you responding to the people that are there? Either answering questions or connecting to someone that really wants to be able to learn more about what your business is or help them, with whatever question it is. And so that's how I would spend an hour a day or a little less than an hour a day,
Okay,
depending on what time it is.
awesome. How about you, Fred?
Um, I would say probably on average, it's 15 minutes to 30 minutes a day on average. There's some days I'm not on it because I'm really busy that day, and I just maybe catch up in the evening. I do I post about twice a week. And then every day I try to go on and just connect with new people, invite them to our events. And so, I'm on probably a couple times, just pop in for 10, 15 minutes and do that. Now, on my days where I lead an event in person, that's a lot of my day. The event's an hour and a half, and I devote about 3 hours to that time. My virtual event once a month on Fridays, that's an hour. And so that's not a lot. Have ambassador meetings every once in a while. And so it's not a huge thing. I could spend 5 hours a day, but it wouldn't have the return. I'm just really selective on the time that I spend. Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna share and think of what the last question is, Chuck. I'll let you ask the last question, but I'm posting right now in the chat for everyone some important links. Number one is Alignable University. That's the group. Okay, so everything that you want to learn about Alignable, if you want to find educational events, I'm on Alignable Now What and 360 training now. It's a new one. If you haven't been on there for a while, I teach what this whole Alignable 360 is all about at least 3 times a week. And this week I'm actually doing a profile workshop. I know Evan, that's her biggest thing that he talks about to people. So there is a workshop in there that I'm doing. The next link that's there is a link to our YouTube channel that has all the Member Success Series past ones, and this one will be posted. You can binge watch all of those anytime you want. There's a members only group, which is called the Alignable Insider Community. These guys are both in there. These are for members only. So members, if you have the verified badge, a premium or premium plus badge, we are very excited about that because you actually, if you didn't know this, you get one-to-one or just small group like this help from Kathy on the Alignable team. You can ask anything, get help with your, like just individualized help. It's amazing. It's called Office Hours. There's also members only Smart Connects in there, members only Masterminds that we had a great one, right? Evan was there last week. That was so great. And I just started posting some members only events in there. I have a couple of great ones, a workshop on ideal customers, and the great Jason Integrity is doing one on post engagement, but you have to be in that group. So I have links to those, and then the group leader program in case any of you guys want to become a group leader. Also. So Chuck, what's our last question for
Well,
the
we've sort of danced around it. We've danced around it over here, over there. For anybody who is on, our broadcast right now or who's watching it later, I just want to ask both of you, why is it important to be premium?
You get what you put into it. I mean, and the small amount it costs, I mean, LinkedIn's $100 minimum a month to be premium. And it's a third of that. It's well worth it. And all the connections you get, and the unlimited smart connects and the tools are well worth the amount of money. Yeah.
Love it. Evan.
I think all we've talked about today is really engaging with your audience and knowing who you're talking to. And really, you have to have a strategy in place, whether it's free or paid. But as Fred said, and we've talked about, to pay to play is where the money is for you in the long term. Building relationships and the analytics that you get from the paid premium. And also, like the thing is, like I know with smart connects, and it's like you only have certain amount of connections, but if you're free and you have smart connects and you're meeting 8 people at once, 4 times a week, that's 32 people. If you haven't been able to build a relationship with those people, with at least 2 or 3 of those people a month, of the 8 times 4 is 32, then something's wrong in the way you're communicating with your audience. So I always say that first, but at the same time, then it's time to pay for the premium membership, because all the analytics and all the other things. Because even if I have a lot of credits, but I don't use them all because people are reaching out to me because I'm doing things in a way to get people to engage with me first. You need to get better at that as well, instead of worrying about the paid or free. The paid is the better value, but you got to do things for free first. You're investing in your time.
I love it.
Right.
And the last few minutes, anything we did not cover that you want to share with our audience today on how to be successful on Alignable? Anything at all that we didn't cover? Fred, what do you have for our audience? Or you want to highlight what we've already talked about?
Yeah, we've covered a lot of ground. Trying to think of anything else I would add. You got anything, Evan, off the top of your head?
It took me a while to learn this, but I think we've talked about a lot, like really knowing what you want to get from Alignable. I know it's the kind of the bad way to say it, what you want to get from it, because it is about me or it is about yourself. But the giver's gain theory, like how can you don't have to be a good relationship builder to start off with. You can learn to be one.
Right.
So really look at how you can actually, what do you really want to get from Alignable? How is it going to impact your business, and what groups and what people can I really align with that I can work toward that goal of helping each other? Because each one of us are in this because we're in business for ourselves, but you're not by yourself, because there's so many people on here that are willing to help you. You just but you can't be weird. You got to be open and building that relationship.
Don't be a weirdo, basically. Or not that much of a weirdo, right?
Yeah, the edge.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Go ahead and post your question in the comment. I think Lisa wanted to ask a question. Just post it in the chat. We have like 5 minutes here. But yeah, I mean, I think there's a common thread, Chuck. What do you think at all of these? It's about building the relationship. It's the long game. It's about there's tools. Alignable has so many tools, right? You guys, you got the AI stuff. Now, I don't know if all of you guys know this. A lot of people don't know. If you're a paid member on Alignable, you get these 5 specialized AI networking coaches under the membership tab there, I think it is. And it's like your own personal ChatGPT that's focused on different things like marketing and stuff like that. Okay, here's the question. Chuck, can you read it?
Yes. When
Yeah.
you first started, did you find Alignable a bit challenging to keep up with in relation to the work you were doing each day on your business and other learning? There's a lot in that
Yeah.
question, Lisa. That's a good one.
Yes. Probably the first month, I just dove into a bunch of smart connects, and then after about a month, I'm like, oh yeah, I can't do that, and kind of stepped back and realized the shotgun approach isn't real helpful. Like Evan's been saying, what's my purpose? How do I want to use this? What's my plan? Now let me go after that. And my plan was, let me connect with people that know what they're doing. So I met guys like Steve Levinson.
He knows what he's doing.
And he knows what he's doing. So I'm like, I'm gonna have a smart connect with him. I'm gonna do a little Zoom with him. And then, Jeffrey Kent and some other guys. And then they're like, gotta go to Chuck's event. Went to Chuck's event, met a bunch of other people. Sue was coming in town. hey, we're going to connect with Sue. You know, she's driving through Indianapolis on her motorhome. And so my approach was connect with the right people that can help you in it. Yeah.
Absolutely,
100%.
absolutely.
What do you, how was
So
your answer?
when I joined 7 years ago, I spent 5 minutes on the platform and I got frustrated. I didn't join. Then 3.5 years ago, someone said you should join Alignable. I got upset because I couldn't figure out how to join Alignable because I forgot I was a member. But then I actually started implementing. I think when it said I want you, I would like to talk to you. Can I have your phone number? I used that. People gave me their phone number and we set up a Zoom call. That was the first time that wow, this is really cool. I'm actually building relationships. Then as Fred said, attending meetings and trying to find the right people I just enjoy talking to and learning from and being part of that community and then building from that. And then because of my giving, I was able to become an Alignable ambassador and then one of the founding ambassadors. And it was really the opportunities to meet the right people. And because you're leading in the room, people want to talk to you. But it's not that. It's more like, okay, how can I really help them? And that's how my business has grown and use Alignable for an effective game for everybody.
Oh, I love it. That was a perfect ending, you two. I love
Super.
it. So everyone in the room, go back to where you registered for this event, where you launched the event, and connect with these two guys. And trust me, everybody on the line that's been on this show, correct me if I'm wrong, Chuck, but they have all offered to help new people. They all
Oh
have,
yeah.
and they're just and I love that you guys said that, because that's exactly what you want to do, is go and connect, build friendships and relationships with them and help each other. You know, use Alignable 360 to go and check your second degree network and offer to introduce people to other people. And guess what? They're going to do the same for you. So thank you
It's
guys
all
for being
good.
here today. Any
Yeah. Thanks
last
for
It's
having
all
us. That was fun.
Thank you very much for having us.
Yeah.
Yeah, open to
you,
everybody. Reach out. We're glad to
Yeah.
help you however I can.
you guys were great. One final thing, and this is from Victor Felix. Be lovable. That's the takeaway. Be lovable. These guys are lovable. Everyone on our show is lovable. That's all you have to be.
100%. All right. Thanks, you guys. Thanks again, Chuck. You're an awesome coach.
Everybody.
I love you guys.
You
See
Thanks.
you all
too. You
next
were
week.
great.
Next
Thanks,
week
guys.
is going to be a great show. I forgot to say, next week is going to be a little different. We have three Alignable team members who also had businesses on Alignable that is going to share with you some amazing tips. So if you want to hear from the Alignable team that are also business owners, that's next week. Do not miss it. Go register for next week right away. Thanks, you two.
There you go.
Kevin and Fred. Thanks,
Bye,
Chuck.
everybody.
Thanks.
See you later.